roads, more parks, more playgrounds. The economy grows.
All of us have collaborated on making this a reality, and certainly this will have a huge impact in terms of employment, in terms of quality of life.
This evening when we're looking at the park and the multi-purpose use of this park, this green area, and convert it to a park, again it has to do with people, that they could bring people together.
The Senate Special Select Committee held its latest hearing yesterday into the controversial Portico Agreement, but it ran into a stone wall of disengagement by Cabinet Secretary Stuart Leslie and Minister of State Christopher Coye, who appeared as witnesses with their attorney, Senior Counsel Eamon Courtney. Both the CABSEC and Coye read a prepared statement and thereafter refused to answer questions from the committee and walked out of the room. In an interview with the media today, Courtney agreed that while both men are fundamentally answerable for their public actions, the question is whether there is any relevant evidence that they can offer to the Commission. For the Senior Counsel, the Senate Special Select Committee's investigation into the controversial definitive agreement granted to Portico Enterprises Limited in October 2020 by the Barrow administration is a waste of public resources.
I do not understand that there was any adversarial appearance yesterday. These two gentlemen were invited to appear before the Senate. They accepted the invitation, they attended, they gave their statements and indicated that they would not have any further evidence to give, and on the basis of my advice we left.
Sir, you have participated in a Senate hearing in 2017. You saw the parade of ministers that went through. Substantive questions were asked, led by you. Don't you think that these persons should also be fundamentally answerable for their public actions?
They are fundamentally answerable for their public actions. The issue that we have to pay attention to is what is being inquired into and whether there is any evidence, relevant evidence, that the Cabinet Secretary has to give and whether there is any relevant evidence that Mr. Coye has to give. If the Senate Select Committee believes that the position that they have taken is not the correct one, they know what to do. The position is, in my view, speaking for myself, I think that the inquiry needs to be brought to an end. It is costing tens of thousands of dollars, taxpayers' money, and it is on a frolic. Until Mr. Contreras goes before that Senate Select Committee, we are wasting public resources. That is my settled opinion, personally.
As to the Leslie's statement that he is bound to silence due to cabinet confidentiality, Courtney says it is all etched in the Constitution.
Absolutely can be reversed if we think, and when I say we, I mean Belizean, if we think that that is an appropriate thing to
But it's not listed in the Constitution. It's purely notional. It's a practice and a convention, but it is not grounded in public law.
Really, Jules? Speak to one of your many lawyers. They will show you the provision where it is.
But, sir,
speak to one of your many lawyers. They will tell you exactly where it is.
So now the SSSC has put out an appeal to your clients, saying, man, baby, come back. Will they come back?
I don't know what they're going to do, but...
Your advice?
You know, I find it remarkable that they got an invitation, my clients attended, and then the Senate committee puts out a release that says that we did not participate. It is a lie. It is a lie. So the Senate committee needs to check itself.
Was your client insinuating that the senator for the NGOs is in some way receiving funds out of... That was a serious allegation that was made.
And that's the way you interpreted it?
Yes.
Okay.
As previously mentioned, the SSC has faced instructions from key figures in the affair, including former government minister Erwin Contreras, who has so far failed to appear before it. The sugarcane industry in Belize is facing a grave crisis as the concerning propagation of the Fusarium fungus wreaks havoc on the cane stocks across the Corozal district. Partners within the industry have been on high alert for several weeks, grappling with an outbreak that has led to alarming yellowing and drying of cane leaves, severely diminishing yields of sugar juice essential for production. While the fungus was discovered years ago, it is the first time that it finds itself in Belize. As the Fusarium spreads rapidly from field to field, the alarm grown among industry stakeholders who are moving fast to control the propagation. One of the response methods has been to hold informational sessions with industry leaders. Today, experts from Florida, Crystals Corporation, and Ingenio San Nicolas in Mexico address stakeholders in Corozal. Chairman of the Sugar Industry Control Board, SICB, Marcos Osorio, elaborated on the discussions that took place during the morning session. He emphasized the challenges posed by climate change, which has subjected the industry to severe droughts, followed by intense rainfall patterns, exacerbating the existing vulnerability.
On October 4th, we had a first forum where the Sugar Industry Control Board through CIRDI had hired a consultant to come and share information in terms of the Fusarium disease that we have come across within our industry. Today was a follow-up where additional information or reconfirmation of what the technical people of the industry had already identified as measures to mitigate and manage the disease that we are presently experiencing. It has been identified that it is a Fusarium pathogen. We are yet to get confirmation of the species. So it is a disease of major concern, and the work or what was presented this morning basically is as a result of field visits, field sampling, and the method that need to be applied for monitoring of the disease, particularly where you find the symptoms, what are the actions you need to take in terms of monitoring to identify if indeed you already have damage in cane stocks or not. And also an important thing that we need as an industry is to continue the monitoring of these fields to identify how fast or how slow the disease, the damage caused by the disease progresses within the cane stock, because it can get to the point where the entire cane stock dries out, and once your cane stock is dried, then there is no sugar that can be extracted out of it. It is a very aggressive disease given the climatic conditions, and also this has to do a lot with the management that farmers do on their cane fields. We were in the session this morning, we were reiterating, or the doctors that were here facilitating were reiterating the need for management of all pests in our sugarcane industry. Primarily, we have the stem borer pest, we have the frog hopper, and also weeds, which is also a host for the disease. So one of the takeaways, or basically sort of refreshing and reminding cane farmers, the approach has to be an integrated approach where our primary management has to focus on stem borer, frog hopper, and weeds. If we are able to manage this in an integrated way, then we should be able to see lesser of an incidence by the disease.
The truth of the matter is that the disease is propagating and every effort is necessary to bring it under control. Despite the industry's preparedness, determining the specific species of the fungus affecting Belize has proven difficult. Multiple attempts to send samples for analysis have been unsuccessful, leading to concerns that more than one strain may be present in country.
Fungus, what is important is the Fusarium fungus is a soil-borne fungus. It exists in the soil. What had happened is that there has not been the climatic conditions that actually converted it into the pathogen causing the disease. This year that we started seeing this yellowing, leaf yellowing in several areas in the Corozal district is when alarm was raised, and we started to do checks, monitoring, and getting to the point where samples were collected, sent to the Baja lab in Central Farm, where it has been identified to be Fusarium. We are yet to identify the species. We have had difficulties in being able to ship samples out of Belize. Mexico have very strict regulations, and they were not accepting our samples. We made an attempt sending samples to Brazil 2 weeks ago. Brazil rejected it, so we were trying to redivert to a lab in Germany. That also failed, but Belize Sugar Industries Limited has been able to send some samples to a lab in the United States of America, and we're hopeful that maybe in 2 or 3 weeks time, we may be able to have results in terms of the species. Why the species? It is important to know which are the species we have. If we believe, and from the experts that were presented this morning, they believe it's a consortium of Fusariums. So unless we know which are the species, so that we can, in terms of fungicides, which are the fungicides that we will be recommending for those specific species of Fusarium. We are hopeful that maybe between 2 to 3 weeks' time, we may have those results.
To combat the fungal threat, the Ministry of Agriculture, Food Security and Enterprise, along with industry stakeholders, have engaged in discussions to explore potential interventions.
Well, one of the first actions that the industry need to make sure that it be taken is a collaborative approach or an integrated approach where all stakeholders, government, and any other agencies, for example, Belize Agricultural Health Authority, who have been very supportive, participating and assisting in this process. It requires everyone so that we can set out our outline, a plan of action. We know what needs to be done. Farmers know what needs to be done. So what is most important is to ensure that farmers do act or implement the recommendations, because we can have the best recommendations available, but if the ones responsible for implementing are not implementing, it's like having nothing. So for this, it also requires pooling resources, because it could be a very expensive management intervention, because it requires the use of fungicides. The best fungicides normally tend to be the more expensive ones. The question is, how much do we afford to do in terms of applying fungicides and the management of those fungicides? We have to be very, very careful of the dosages, go by the recommendations on the labels, so that we can manage the disease in the best way possible, because we know this type of pathogens tend to develop resistance to products, especially when there's not a good management of the dosages and so on.
However, the costs associated with these necessary fungi pose a financial dilemma for the industry, hence the reason why funding is being sought aggressively.
Well, there is some discussion. Actually, we have at this time, this afternoon, we are having 2 separate discussions, and we will divide ourselves. We are having a discussion with the World Bank. We have developed a proposal for financing. The World Bank has received the proposal on Tuesday, and they requested for a further discussion with us this afternoon. And then there is also a separate discussion with DFC. All this with the objective of identifying sources of funding. The industry does not have all that is required to implement certain actions and measures for mitigation and, more than anything, preparing for next year. We are next to a harvest season, and what is most important is what happens after we harvest, because while the disease is there, but we still have a production that we can salvage. An important thing of monitoring is that through the monitoring we identify which fields are at the point where we need to harvest them first so that we can salvage most of it. So it will require a concerted effort by everyone. Everyone should collaborate, harvesting group leaders, where through the monitoring system, we will be guiding the harvesting so that those farmers can recover some or get some of their production. So it requires the buy-in of each and everyone, from the small farmer, the medium, the large farmer, the harvest group leader, and all stakeholders of our industry. It also requires, I must commend the Ministry of Agriculture, who immediately took action and requested that a proposal be drafted for the World Bank through the CRESAP project. And we are there. Actually, we started working on that last week. And today we are already having that discussion with the World Bank personnel. So we are hopeful that we may be able to get access to some funding through the World Bank. Most of the cane farmers associations have their fair trade premiums, which as my intervention at the session this morning was, farmers, we need now to prioritize what is most important for the good of the industry, and basically saying integrated pest management need to form a major component of your budgeting for next year.
A team of medical doctors and surgeons under the umbrella of the Northern American Taiwanese Medical Association were at the Lions Den in San Esteban Village today, offering free medical services to residents from the community. The team of doctors were brought to Belize through a collaboration with Taiwan ICF through the Taiwan Embassy in Belize. The team of over 60 doctors have been working in different parts of the country since Monday of this week and have seen close to 500 patients in areas of internal medicine, pediatrics, ophthalmology, and gynecology. Our news team caught up with one of the organizers of this year's mission from the ICF team, who told us about the importance of this collaboration to help improve the overall health of Belizeans across the country.
We hope that we can promote because we have some Taiwan. Because we want to share our medical experience to Belizean, and we can have more partnership between Taiwan and Belize.
And just talk to us about the length of the mission. I know that it started on Monday. Just talk to us a little about where you guys have been so far.
Yesterday and the day before yesterday, we went to Belmopan. And now we are in Orange Walk, and tomorrow we will in Belize City.
Over the past 4 days, the mission has been able to see over 500 patients, including over 100 in San Esteban today.
This time, our group, we have a 68 member come here, and we start Monday to Friday. So that means from October 13 to 18. And last 3 days, we already see, we do include, internal family medicine, gynecology, and the surgical team, and also ophthalmology. And the last 3 days, not include today, we already saw like 430, patients. And today here, I think we see about 130. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Is there anything that has been, common in the persons that come, like, commonly seen within the patients that you guys saw today?
Yeah. Today, I think, same thing. And we do have, because the healthcare system here good, maybe few has a fever and a few, has a chronic disease. But most of them has a back pain, neck pain, headache. And when they have tendinitis and fasciitis, and we do the local injection for the patient, and they relieve the pain right away. Yeah.
This week's medical mission, according to Dr. Jin Lin, is focused on complementing the work already being done by local health centers in Belize.
I think Belize, healthcare systems still not bad. We do have a so-called health clinic, and we do have health worker, and they take care, Belize people's, health. And so when I went to the Armenia, health center, and there's a good setting, and on that day we see 115 people, and most of the people, we do have a couple patient, has a fever, and I do see one patient is 95 years old. Okay, so it's very old, and although he has a history of stroke, but he's doing fine, doing okay now. Yeah.
And the week-long medical mission ends tomorrow in Belize City. And there is more news after the break. Stay tuned.
This plan, I can't leave this plan. Smart Belize.
Hey there, smart thinkers. We're turbocharging your mobile experience with Smart's powered up postpaid plans. Imagine a world where your data speeds flows faster than ever. Well, guess what? We've cranked up the dial and unleashed the postpaid power of Smart's lightning fast LTE data on all our postpaid plans. That's right, no speed bumps, more data. It's like having a limitless highway of data speed at your fingertips. Whether you're a lone ranger with an individual plan or a squad rolling with a group plan, everyone gets to surf, stream, and share at enhanced, full, high-quality speed. Switch to Smart's powered-up postpaid plans today and ride the wave of postpaid power. Visit any Smart showroom or smart-bz.com for details and make your mobile experience smarter and faster. Smart, bringing people together.
I know I can't leave this plan. I can't leave this plan.
In a statement that has drawn criticism from various quarters in Belize, Ambassador Assad Shoman suggested that Belizeans should not be alarmed by recent incidents of aggression in the Sarstoon River area. His remarks have ignited a strong response from the Belize Territorial Volunteers, BTV, who have expressed their discontent in a letter to Prime Minister John Briceño. The BTV's letter condemns Ambassador Shoman for what they described as a dismissal of the seriousness of the assaults occurring in the Sarstoon, which they feel undermines national sentiments regarding territorial integrity. We cannot have an ambassador to The Hague representing us when he refuses to acknowledge these assaults, downplaying the gravity of the situation, the letter states. They pointed out that Ambassador Shoman had previously assured the Belizean populace that no further incidents would occur following the nation's decision to pursue a case in the International Court of Justice, ICJ. The organization expressed frustration, noting that the ambassador's assurances had not materialized as recent aggressions in the area have continued unabated. Unfortunately, this assurance has not been met, and yet he continues to minimize the severity of these occurrences, the letter declared. The BTV also highlighted the alarming admission by Shoman that he was unaware of the timeline concerning the ongoing court case, further intensifying concerns regarding the ambassador's competence and commitment to the matter. In response to the uproar, the media sought comments from Belize's foreign minister, the Honorable Francis Fonseca.
In terms of the ICJ, I mean, it's clear that that is in the hands of the court. So like any court, I think what Assad was saying was he was being frank and honest, that it's up to the court. The court sets the timeline. We have not yet received a date for the oral hearings. So if we've not received a date for the oral hearings as yet, then we're in no position to say when there will be a final determination of this matter. We've always said, listen, once we receive a date for the hearings, that will take a few months, maybe, as I have been advised, perhaps 3 to 6 months, as much as that for the hearings, the oral hearings. And then, after that, the court, they will have an opportunity to review the matter. There may be an opportunity to respond. And then the court will make a determination, which again could take anywhere from 6 months to a year. So what I have said to people is that we're looking at a window of probably 2 years for some, determination of this matter. But that's entirely up to the court. And that's the point Assad, I think, was making.
They feel he was dismissive of the events on the Sarstoon, and they have accused you of the same.
Yeah, I mean, we've responded to that again. Absolutely. We take a backseat to no one, including the territorial volunteers, in terms of our defense of the Sarstoon. We understand that it's a critically important issue. I have made it absolutely clear that every opportunity that has arisen, we have made this point directly to the Guatemalans, directly to the president of Guatemala. We sat across the table from him. The prime minister made that point. I made that point. We made it to the foreign minister of Guatemala, to the defense minister of Guatemala, who was there as well. So, we are very clear and comfortable in terms of our position, in terms of the Sarstoon. And we're very confident about Belize's position as it relates to ownership of a part of the Sarstoon River.
Former police officer Elmer Nye is currently on remand at the Belize Central Prison after being charged for the triple murder of John David and Vivian Ramnarees. The trio was targeted while they were at home in Belmopan on December 31st, 2022. Investigators believe that Na was the gunman captured on the victim's home surveillance camera during the incident. Na's attorney Godfrey Smith claims that the evidence video may have been tampered with. According to Attorney Smith, the defense has incited the services of a U.S. forensics firm to review the video footage. On advice from those experts, the defense has since requested the original video from police.
I don't know if you'd call it unconventional, but certainly the video of the shooter on the premises of the deceased person's shooting will feature prominently. We have retained a highly reputable forensic video and audio forensics firm in Los Angeles to have a look at that, because it holds the answer to who did the shooting, if it can be enhanced. I will say this, that what they have come back to us to say is that, look, the CD that you have may have been distorted. You need to get the video from the original recording source if there is to be a chance of seeing the face of the shooter. And so we've made application for that. They were able to point out on the recording we have that it was obviously adopted not from the original source. It was adopted from the original source, and that we need to get hold of the original source. And we've also made an application to get the contents of Mr. Na's cell phone and other things that are currently in the possession of the police. That's as far as unconventionality goes.
But you have to depend on the state to turn over that original, yes, or the police.
They are obliged to do it because that is part of the preparation of our defense. They have to give us access to what we're asking for, with supervision, of course.
Viewers may remember that earlier this year, Police Commissioner Chester Williams told reporters that some enhancements had been made to the video with assistance from the U.S. Embassy. And that's the news. We invite you to join us for another newscast on Friday, October 18th here on CTV3 News and Face FM 106.7. Remember that to read a text version of the news, you can visit our website at ctv3belizenews.com. You can also log on to our Facebook page for current stories at facebook.com/CTV3BelizeNews or our YouTube channel at CTV3 News BZ. From all of us here at CTV3 News, thank you for watching and listening. Good night.